On this episode of Old Men Do Hobbies for Young People, Paul does a wheelie. Paul forgets to book his hotel room. Paul steals all the ketchup. Brad sings to me as punishment.
It's the tax. It's the tax for making me drive.
Paul disregards all safety. Paul does a striptease.
This is how I like to start my morning with Russell's pop.
And Russell is a big tease. Hello, welcome to the video. I come to you 7 weeks before the Landow event. The reason I come to you 7 weeks before the Landow event is because I've just been on holiday. And on holiday I ate and I drank and I did exactly what I wanted to do. I ate as much as I was when I was a pig. And when I came home, I got on the scales yesterday morning. The scales said bad things. It said 97.5 kilos when I was 93 before I left. So I didn't panic and I got straight back to my regime. But the reason I'm starting this video so early, first of all, I have a new camera. For anyone interested, it's a DJI Action 2. And if it works especially well, you'll get to see some footage of this camera in my helmet. If you do, you'll see a very quick clip of that now. So, my plan over the next 7 weeks is to work very hard at my diet and at the gym and get myself in great shape. If I can be under 90 kilos and also have gained some muscle by the time we get to Landow, I'll be a happy guy because I've been struggling with injury. I then talk about injuries for a minute. I'm old, I hurt, I gotta get on with it. The joys of getting older, but we're going to try and get fit. So, roll the Rocky-inspired music. The weekend is here for the Dragon Cup, round 4 of the Access Karting GX UK Championship, and I am on my way to go get the van. Then I'm off to Brad's house to go prep my car. Then after we prep the car, we're going to have a barbecue, and then after the barbecue, we're going to go to sleep, and then we're going to wake up really early tomorrow morning to drive to Wales. Let's get going!
Mine's on finance from Curry's.
Right, anyway, good morning. It is really early.
You know what time lapse?
And we are, what, of our faces?
I thought you put.
I'm going to do a time lapse, but I'm also doing our good morning bit to camera. I might edit this out, I might not.
Sorry.
You'll know this before I will. So it is 6 o'clock in the morning. We have started our journey. I'm driving really slowly for some reason.
Because we're going uphill in a heavy van.
That's a good point. We are due to get to the track for 9:25, but we will undoubtedly stop at least once on this journey because we're old men and I'm drinking lots of water, so I'll pee all the time. On our way to Landow, off in Wales. Don't know what that accent was trying to be. I stopped halfway through. But yes, how do you feel about this weekend, Bradley?
We're going to smash everyone.
And cut to Brad crashing it. Maybe. We'll see.
Oh yeah, I did. I should have said smash.
You'll do a Matthew Roberts from last round. cut to a crash of that. So we have made our first stop about 40 minutes into our journey because we both realised we got very, very hungry. So I have a roll. Brad bought a Huel. It's not real food. Huel's shit. Huel. This is a message to Huel. Stop giving me adverts. I'm never buying your shit.
You're the target audience.
I'm not the target audience. I tried their stuff. It's disgusting. But if you want to sponsor me for this video, hit me up. Yeah, so we're eating food and then we're going to make way again. Cut to another time lapse. And we are into Wales.
No, we're not.
Well, we're going over the bridge into Wales.
We're not in Wales until we get the other side.
No, we're onto Wales. We're into Wales. We're going into Wales. Brad's being pedantic again. We are arriving at Llandow Kart Circuit. Practice 1 is well underway at Landow. I had my first session. I got a bit of time to find, but I needed to change the sprocket on my kart because I wasn't reaching maximum revs, so that will hopefully find me a little bit of extra time. And also it's learning a whole new circuit, so I'm just trying to figure out what to do. And you have Brad, so Brad's not going out today and he's just sorting out his car because he's helping out new entrant to GX UK, Paul Hanley. How are you feeling about this weekend, Paul?
I'm more excited than you can understand.
This car has had lots of things chopped off of it because Paul is worried about reaching weight. There is supposed to be a thing there and it's not.
And here, there's supposed to be a thing here, and there's supposed to be a thing here, and here. There's supposed to be a thing.
He's lopped loads of things off. Carbon fibre floor tray. So you're looking forward to your first rookie weekend. How long has it been since you've been in the go-kart?
Since you've
What
raced.
wasn't it?
Since it's raced like my own one, 20 years.
It is home time from day one.
I was amazing.
Brad was fantastic. He did no laps. I did lots of laps and found lots of time. So yeah, I found over a second today. So it goes well and looking good for tomorrow. God, this is bouncy.
Yeah, sorry.
And because Johnny Elliott is a loser and decided to just not turn up at the last minute, Paul's had to give up his spot in the paddock to take us all to the hotel. So thanks, Johnny.
Nice one, Johnny.
Yeah, nice one, Johnny. So, practice day is over. Been a challenging day, mostly because I'm in a lot of pain. The seat is digging into my ribs and it's causing me a lot of pain. So we've had to take my seat out to bend the seat stays so that it takes a little bit of pressure off. And then we've discovered there's a hole in my seat. Or there is a hole coming in my seat. So we've sent Brad's mum, Debbie, thank you Debbie, off to Halfords to go get a fiberglass kit, and Paul's going to fiberglass up my seat. So that is the rest of the day for us. I slept well, Paul. How did you sleep?
I slept like a baby.
Tell me about your first day of access karting.
I didn't crash. Overtook some people. I just went round in circles for about an hour all in all and didn't crash. It was quite nice.
So here we are for our second attempt to start, because the first time we tried to start, this happened. The pole man, Richard Melton Baxter, decided to do a very slow rolling up lap, and as we were getting closer and closer to the line, didn't look like they were going to start the line, and Tom Purchase got bored, threw his hand up in the air and just decided to pass the Maldonado to start. Hence the reason this happens. Anyway, back to the racing. So, as we hurtle down to turn 1, I'm in the outside lane in P9, Connor botting on my inside with Tom Purchase just in front of me. It's all a little bit tight trying to get through here. It's a very difficult corner to negotiate a whole bunch of karts through. Because I was left out to dry, I get done by George and by Brad Philpott. So I've already lost 2 places back to 11th place. So this was not a great start. So at this point, all I'm trying to do is keep an eye on what Brad is doing, because I know how quick Brad is at the moment. So I want to try and follow Brad through, and wherever he makes overtakes to go, but there's a crash up in front between Connor and Sebastian. They take each other out the race, so I may have been down to 11th. I'm now back up to 9th place as me and Brad now chase down George Massey, who was unbelievably quick this weekend compared to his pace at the previous race. So he's all of a sudden found a lot more speed, and we're going to trace into the next lap. As we skip forward a little bit, we now have Brad having a go at George into the chicane. George lets Brad have the room and gets through. It gives me a chance to actually have a go at George on the exit onto the back straight. But the thing I've realised with my kart this weekend is I am lacking a little bit in the bottom end. Even though I'm running quite low gearing, I'm having real struggle. So my struggles get worse as Tom Stalker pokes it up the inside of me into the final corner, and I lose out to Tom. So I now try to push along and try and get a good run at Tom to try and at least have a look at him into the next couple of laps. But as I come into turn 1 and turn 2, I get a slightly poor exit. But what I don't notice is there is all of a sudden an errant Tom Angier flying up the inside of me. So this race just seems to be going from bad to worse for me at the moment. As now it looks like Russell Endine has managed to get a massive run on me and actually does me down into the fast right-hander. So that has really affected me. So now all I have to do is try and hang on to the back of this pack and hope for some opportunities later in the race to try and get past. So as I have a look at Russell, as Russell goes up the inside of Tom Angier, I try and follow Russell through as I duck down to try and get a little bit more slipstream effect, but Angier sees that he's got enough room on me and just sweeps across ahead of me. Actually means I have to back out and I lose a little bit of ground, but through the far chicane I've been very good through here all weekend, and I've managed to gain my time back up as I duck down into the slipstream to try and get a run on these guys. But no, they are just a little bit too quick. The slipstream effect isn't too good for me here this weekend, which is a shame, as Tom Purchase runs a little bit wide through the last corner, which puts him under pressure from Tom Angier. Angier goes up to the inside, has a little bit of contact with him. Tom goes to the middle, hits the curb in the middle, spins around, hits the back of my car, which is terrible for me, because even though I haven't lost the place because we had a decent enough gap behind us, I have now lost a lot of time to Tom Angier. But a couple of laps later, he hits up to the back of Richard Melton Baxter, who's a little bit off the pace this weekend for some reason, and now we are right with Tom Angier and with RMB. So I'm going to try and follow Tom here. I'm not going to try and fight him too hard and try and find my way back past Richard. As Tom takes the inside, I have a think about going up the inside, but I don't quite get the run, and my bottom end struggles there, as you just see that RMB just manages to pull away on the exit from me there. So we will try and have a go again, hopefully down into my favourite overtaking spot, the spoon hairpin. I don't think it's actually called the spoon hairpin, but I like to call it the spoon hairpin. It reminds me a little bit of Suzuka, but in reverse. So I have a look up the inside, and do I manage to get the move done? As I touch the apex, I managed to get through, no contact, really nice move, happy with that. Now I'm going to have to go and try and chase after Tom Angier. However, unfortunately, I don't quite have the pace on Tom. We're very evenly matched, and he manages to beat me across the line, so I get a P9 finish.
So, van thoughts, mostly because there's lots of noise going on outside. Tough race that. It's one of those situations where, I mean, I had pace. I mean, I did a 52.5, and that was my best lap of the whole weekend. So one of the quickest laps of anyone out there. But I just got caught up in too much. And every time I was up behind somebody, they check up. As I check up, when they check up, the person behind me's gone past. So yeah, I just got a bit unlucky in that race. I think I'm starting the next race even further back, so I might have some fun coming through the field. So yeah, we'll see. Listen, I finished 9th. It's fine, I guess. People will have bad races, people will have good races. 9th ain't the worst place to be, but next 2 races have got to be better, because yeah, I'm starting at the back for the next one, so move forward well will be good, and then I'm on pole. So we'll see. I'm not getting my head down. We'll work. It'll be fun.
So here we are for the start of race 2. I'm starting P18 now. Strap in, because this is a fun one. Again, I have Connor on my left. I have Tom in front of me. I give him a little bit of a bump. That actually puts a big hole in my front bumper. So in this off season, I'm going to have to buy a new bumper. But I'm now still behind Connor, and I now have to find my way up through the field, because starting from 18th is a difficult position. I have a quick look on Connor up the inside into the spoon curve, but I don't quite get there. There's somebody on our outside. He's now done by Connor, and that's Ethan. So Ethan is now my first target.
as we head into the fast right-hander. This corner is flat, and you can get a lot of time on people because lots of people weren't flat or having a little bit of a lift or just not hooking it up straight right. But this little part of the circuit I seem to do very, very, very well at. So all we got to do is now see where we can go. We've got Ethan in the slipstream. I'm having a little bit of a defence because there is somebody behind me. Ethan has a look up to the inside of Connor, gets past Connor, but Connor gets a good overlap and comes back through on Ethan. But now that puts me straight onto the back of Ethan through turn 1 and turn 2. Turn 2 was a difficult corner for me this weekend. I really struggled here. It's why I lost out a little bit on exits to people, but it came into this little double left-hander where I think I was quite good and able to pull off my favourite move, as I do, into Ethan nice and cleanly as he has gone a cut straight across the front of my bumper. Anyway, I'm now up behind Connor, who is now tagged onto the back of the group in front. That is Tom Purchase in front of him. Now, Tom Purchase is a very robust defender, and he will not let any place go. However, I think he does it too much here. Sticks up the inside, does not move out the way. They both duck into each other, run each other wide, and gives me 2 nice places. Thanks, boys. So, my next victim is new boy Charlie. Charlie, I'm coming after you, unfortunately, my mate, as you have a little bit of a wobble on the exit of turn 2, and I think I'm going to line you up for a move in my favourite position as I swoop out into the inside and take Charlie. I've now lost complete and utter track of what position I'm in, but I'm much further up. Now, I'm up to the back of Richard Melton Baxter again as I gain loads of time on him through the chicane, which gives me a nice run up the straight. But again, that bottom end really causing me an issue whenever I get to anybody, because that was a good exit to the corner, but the kart just did not want to release from the corner. So I have to try and figure out a different place to do it, and I have a feeling it's going to be at my favourite corner. So let's just see. I get a nice clean exit through turn 2, which was nice, and then we're coming into the double left-hander. I've got all the space to use, all the track I want, and I just run it in a little bit deep purposely to try and get a little bit wide so I can dart up the inside. It's a little bit later than all my other moves, but it still gets the move done. Rich is a really fair racer and left me the room. So my next person I've got to go after is Tim Kansas. This took me a couple of laps to get to the back of Tim. Tim has found again another driver who's found a whole bunch of pace from the previous round, and he was making it much harder for me to get past him as I now try to line him up for my standard move into the spoon. Let's see if I can get it done this time. I don't think I can. I'm a little bit far away, so let's see if I can get it. No, I'm not going to get it done this lap, so we've got to wait. We've got to be a little bit patient and just try and get right up to the bumper to see if we can get Tim somewhere else, maybe on the next lap. We again come into the fast right-hander. He gets a little bit sideways going into that corner, and I gain loads and loads of time. I commit to the curbs and really throw the kart over and get a really good exit and get straight onto the back. But as you can see, the kart still just labours just a little bit. But Tim knows I'm there, goes a little bit defensive, and the slipstream starts to pick up. But I'm not going to try and have a go into the hairpin because those moves don't really seem to work. But now I'm in a really good position. I am right on the back of Tim Kansas. He's really feeling the pressure. He has a little bit of curb into turn 1. He runs a little bit wide and has a little bit of a sideways moment coming out of turn 2. So I slip up the inside into the double left-hander. Not a move I will pull off very often because it's a very risky move. But if you're fully alongside, you can really make it work. And that was that. And now I'm off in pursuit of the 3 guys in front. They are fighting, so maybe there is a chance for me to catch them. That group in front is Tom Butler, Russell Endine and Tom Angier. But even though they're fighting, they are all very quick. I would like to get into that battle, but I think I might run out of laps. As we come into the final hairpin, I do have a look, but there is the flag and it's all over.
18th to 7th. Okay, I'll take that.
Well, that was fun. 18th to 7th, I'll take that every single day of the week. Yeah, that just felt awesome. Sorted out I found I had an alignment issue on my kart, so I had a little bit of toe in on one side and a bit of toe out on the other side. So yeah, that was really obviously affecting my handling, and all of a sudden the kart just felt transformed and felt so much better. So yeah, I'm properly happy with that. However, we go to start pole for the next one, so let's go. But first, it's lunch.
So we are starting my first GX UK race from pole position as I roll up slowly to the yellow acceleration line. I go for the power and we move to a new camera. This is Debbie on Paul's van. She can see the entire track from here, so you can see that I just managed to cut off Connor Botting going into turn 1, and Angie manages to switch around the outside of him, and I've got Tom and Angie right behind me, but we actually managed to get a decent breakaway here. I wish I'd known this in advance from what you see later, and then I would have defended a little bit less hard from Tom Angier, which might have actually got me a better position. So as we come down into the fast right-hander, you can see that Tom is right behind me, but we have a couple of kart lengths gap to what I still assume is Connor behind us. What I should have done here is taken my exact normal line, and if Tom wanted to come past me, I should have just let him, because what our fighting did is it cost me. Because what happens here is I go to the central line, I take a very different line to what I normally take, and I outbrake myself into the last corner. Tom pops himself through, and I decide to continue fighting him, which again reduces our gap to the karts behind, because George Massey has now got past and George is now in hot pursuit of us. So now we tuck in behind Tom and have to think about trying to get past, but I'm disappointed to have lost the lead, so I think I go into a bit of fight mode, and all I'm doing is trying to look at a way past rather than maybe thinking about the big picture, which is stay with Tom and just try and push further and further away from the pack. But that's not what happened. So again, into the fast right. I am quicker into this fast right. I could have got a run on him if the straight was a bit longer, and again I'm quicker through the chicanes. I gained him a little bit, but then as we hit the exit, he just manages to pull away from me. We skipped forward a couple of laps as we basically did the same dance for the next few laps. Again, I'm up the inside, but I haven't got the best exit from that last corner, and somehow George has managed to get himself up the inside and past me into that fast right hand. Now that is an impressive move from George. So I'm a bit disappointed at this point, and I'm like, okay, let's just try and fight with these guys and at least try and hang on to the podium. However, there is a particular bloke in a green kart who has different views of what he wants to do with regards to my position being in third. So let's just watch as we go into turn 1. George has a look up the inside of Tom, takes a big whack of curb as he comes through turn 2, gets a little bit sideways. I get a slightly better exit, but again that poor lift off the corner just means I just don't have the guts to get up the inside before the second stage of this engine kicks in. And the middle phase of my engine is really, really good. It's just that initial pull, as you can see again, just labours off of the corner. George gets a little bit of a snap before he turns in to the right-hander, which again puts me on the back of him. I get towards George and then I get too close and I have to back out. As I back out, I get a little bit sideways, and that annoying green kart with a 0 on it is now all of a sudden up my inside. I'm not going to give, despite the fact that we paddock together and we drive up together and he's my best mate, I'm still not going to give him any quarter. So we cut up into the first corner, and I just managed to squeeze him out, keep my position behind George, as I really want to stay in this podium battle. But there is still quite a few laps left. I have to defend from Brad, but I don't defend quite well enough, and again he just manages to drag up the inside of me into that double left-hander. I have to give him the space, and then we head off into Spoon Curve. But now all I have to do is just try and tuck behind Brad. I know Brad is quick enough to catch the guys in front, so let's see if I can tag along and go through with him. As those three now start fighting into Spoon Curve, Brad jumps up on the curb, gets a bit of grass, a little bit of side-by-side contact with Tom Angier as he pushes Angier a little bit wide. George goes and takes the lead, and Tom Angier even manages to push through with George, and Brad goes from third to first to third again. I'm still sniffing around, but I just can't make it work. So we have to go all over again as we go into the chicane. We pull out the corner. Again, look how they just pull away from me on the exit. I'm not making excuses, I promise. It's a real thing. Anyway, Brad goes very, very wide to try and cut back across. Does a really great move up the inside of Tom Angier. Angier will be a bit annoyed at himself for that one, but it's fine. He's still in the fight for the podium. Now I'm having a really good look. I'm up the back of Tom Angier, but I get a little bit wide on the exit at 2, a little bit of rumble around. So then we jump to the end of that lap, where again Angier is now having a go at George. Looks up the inside of George into turn 1, doesn't quite get it to work, but it's all fine. There's super clean driving going on, no contact, and everyone just trying to get the best possible result they can. But again, I'm just hanging on to the back of this group. I think the three of them are quicker than me, and I'm just managing to grasp on as we have a Kart up the inside of me. I'm pretty certain that is the renegade that is Jacob, and he's having another look coming into the other lap, so I know he's there. This is the final lap. I cover him off, but he just dumps up the inside of me a bit late as I turn in, collects the side of my side pod, puts me a little bit wide onto the dirt. I wasn't massively happy with that move, and he did get a penalty for some other moves in that race, but yeah, Jacob really trying to have a go at me. But what that's done now is it's put me on the back foot, and it's put me into the clutches of 3 karts behind me. We have Matthew Roberts on my right, we have Russell Endine on my left with Tom Stalker behind him. I'm stuck in the middle as Matt Roberts darts across my inside, has a little bit of contact, slows me right down, and Tom and Russell Endine both managed to get past me on the exit to that corner. I was not a happy bunny.
Alright, so I didn't quite got a plan. However, there's been some things happening. So obviously, you know, I made a mistake on that one. Happens. I haven't made that mistake all weekend, but thinking about it, I also haven't had to defend into that corner without somebody ahead of me. So obviously I just missed my braking point, didn't brake hard enough, whatever it was, my mistake. And then great fight with George and Tom. And then after that, it all got a bit messy. Obviously with the contact with Jacob, it was a bit late, but I don't think that's what he got. I don't know that's what happened, but he got a penalty. He got a 3-place penalty. But it's all right. I've had a chat with Jacob. We've had a conversation, and everything's fine. He's a lovely boy. But as I said to Jacob, you just need to be less of a menace. Love you. Anyway, so then obviously the whole mess at the end. But I'm P6 on the grid for the final, so that's coming soon. But now water. So we are starting the final in P6, right behind my friends Russell Endine and Tom Angier, who I have been racing with all weekend. We have been fighting fairly and hard, and it's been great fun as we all head into turn 2 and turn 3. I have Russell just ahead of me as he looks up the inside of Tom Angier, but I think he just manages to be held off. I have a look down the inside of Russell, but don't quite get it to work. Again, that bottom end just dragging me down a little bit, so I don't manage to get a look past him. I do, however, know that I have a very, very quick George Massey behind me, so I do have to be a little bit defensive and think about what he's going to do as I come into the chicane, close down the gap, as I seem to be very quick through there against everybody else this weekend, which has been my big positive for the weekend, is the corner that requires a heck of a lot of commitment. Whoa! As George Massey, with a huge lunge but beautifully under control, gets me into the last corner. Whether he caught me napping or I just couldn't defend hard enough, I'll never know, but that was a brilliant, brilliant move from George Massey. Puts me back down to 7th place, but I'm not too fussed by it because I wasn't stopping him as George heads off after Russell Endine, and I'm just going to sit and watch him. As we head off into the fast right hand corner, go as wide as possible, carry as much speed flat through that corner, over the curb, didn't need too much curb on the entrance that time. As we come through the chicane, you commit to the curbs, you've got to literally let the car skate over the curbs to carry as much speed as possible through there to really maximise it. The kart feels a bit out of control, but you just got to let it deal with it. As George goes to the inside of Russell Endine and takes away 5th place from Russell Endine and leaves me to try and fight for that final 6th place. We skip now to a little bit later in the race. Now, I don't get to get past Russell for the rest of this race, but I get a lot of opportunities to get very, very close. But I think me and Russell are incredibly well matched. And so as you can, when we come into the hairpin, I have a little look just to try and make him go a little bit defensive, but it doesn't work, and I don't quite have the overlap to get past him there. Then we're coming into the fast right-hander. He hits a little bit of the curb, goes a little bit slower on the exit there. I get a good run, but as we come into the chicane, I'm not able to. I'm quicker through the chicane than him. I get over the curb to try and match him on the exit, but again, I just don't manage to get the drag out of the corner that I want. I have to have a little bit of a defence from the person that's behind me here, and then we come into the first and second chicane, and again I'm just trying to have little nibbles at him. I'm quicker in certain places, he's quicker in other places. We're just trying to have a fight to to see who can get 6th place, but I don't quite have the extra overspeed to make my way past him, because I get very close here on the exit. This is the final lap, so this is my last opportunity. I go a little bit left and a little bit right, and I have to think about it to make him go defensive, to hopefully make him compromise his exit to the hairpin. He goes a little bit deep, I cut a little bit tight. I try to get up the inside of him to race into the line, but there's not quite enough space. But that is, yet again, another very, very close finish between me and Russell. So everything got very busy after the race. So I come to you from a Domino's. Final was fun. Listen, had a great race. Great battling with Russell all the way through that. George was rapid, so I couldn't do anything about George. And yeah, me and Russell just fought until the end. So it was great fun. I feel like I got what I deserved this weekend. I think that's, I was around the pace of George, Russell and Tom Angier. So to finish in and around them was fine by me. There was a bit of drama towards the end. Brad's engine got scrutineered and they tried to disqualify him, but they got the regs wrong. So honest mistake, easy to make. And so we're all done, on the way home, all packed up, getting a Domino's, and then 4 hours home. We are in Domino's at Pontyclun. New place, never heard of it. Anyway, thank you for watching. Goodbye.